Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers for part one of a two-part debate.
With Congressman Mark Amodei of CD2 and Greg Kidd, who is a registered nonpartisan, running in the same race. Here for the whole show are an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. The Nevada Mining Association, mining a better future for Nevada. And University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, offering the highest level of care in Nevada.
We're in a book club. It's a fun group.
But Sam Brown's part of a different group.
The extremist movement with a far-right agenda.
Sam Brown said he wanted to repeal the Affordable Care Act, denying coverage to people with pre-existing conditions.
Brown supports letting states ban abortion.
And he was even caught saying he admires a plan that could phase out Social Security.
We've got our friends. Sam Brown has his. He's too extreme for Nevada.
Wynn Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are delighted to be hosting a debate between Congressman Mark Amodei of CD2 and Greg Kidd, who is the independent running for CD2. Mark Robinson is joining me from the Reno Gazette-Journal. He's their chief political correspondent for the state. And it's going to be a two-part show, and so we're excited about this, and thank you both for being here.
You bet. Thank you. All right. Well, let's dive into the deep end with abortion as the first question. And so, Greg, you won the coin toss to get the first question. And so what's your personal view on abortion, and especially as it relates to Nevada's law? Do you agree with it? Do you think women should be able to have an abortion up to 24 weeks? Have that right in Nevada?
Thanks for the question. I just want to say thanks first, Sam. Thanks, Mark. Mark. I just want to say for this debate that I'm really honored to be here. And Mark, I just want to say thank you for your service. And any disagreements or differences of opinion, I just want to say I really believe your motivations are good. And I want to thank all the different Congress people for Nevada. So I'm super psyched to be here and to be able to answer your question. So Mark, on the question, I do believe a woman's right to choose is a civil right. And so that's something I don't believe should be changed from state to state. But given the reality we have, I do believe in the state of Nevada that we should enshrine that right at a constitutional level. Mother of my kids is an OB-GYN. She does early term deliveries, late stage abortions with medical necessity. And I want to make sure that she's safe and the women are safe. And this decision to me is a decision between a woman and the doctors. And there's really no role for government in this.
And that's time.
Okay. And Representative Amodei, so do you think that women should be able to have the right to abortion up to 24 weeks as Nevada law says?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I was here and voted for that initiative when it was on the ballot. I think it was 1990. You know, it's interesting as I hear Greg's answer, it's like, I'm not sure I disagree with much he said, but it is interesting that that ballot question doesn't require you, if that's enshrined in the Constitution, doesn't require you to have a physician, which present Nevada law by the Nevada voters does. I think if it's about women, having a doctor involved, mandatory, is a good idea. I also think that the 24 weeks thing, if you want to put something in the Constitution, great. Put what the Nevada voters put in the Constitution. 24 weeks. After that, as Greg indicated, his spouse, former spouse, did late-term abortions. You can still have them after 24 weeks. You just need a reason. That's what Nevada voters said. So if you're going to put something in the Constitution, please show deference to Nevada voters and what they did.
All right. Question number 2 here is on the economy, and I'll come to you, Congressman. The economy is doing well, according to all the economists, but the people aren't feeling it. The price of eggs and bacon are too high. And what's your response? And is it the government's role to do something about that in a capitalist society?
Well, the government has an impact on things like that, as we all well know and always has. When you talk about eggs or prices at the grocery store or the price to drive to work or stuff like that, that's energy. And so when we look at what's happened with energy in the last 3 years or whatever, in terms of, do I think that electric vehicles are the future? Yeah. Do I think that they're subject to being scheduled and mandatory stuff? And do I think that also, in order to allow that future to come into play, that you have to say you can't use fossil fuels anymore? Fossil fuels, if it's really about carbon, it can be about carbon. But all of that stuff, since this is about the economy, is being driven by the cost of energy. The cost to drive that stuff to the grocery store, the cost to produce all that is energy dependent. And we got a real problem with how energy policy has been working from the federal government now. So we need a change in direction.
Okay, I'm going to just follow up here and give you 30 seconds to follow up. What should the change be? You're in Congress.
Well, the changes are like the stuff that the House has passed in the last 2 years, which says everything's on the table. You use fossil fuels in a responsible way in the context of carbon. You don't sell inventory out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to China. You don't prohibit drilling on federal lands. We're in Nevada, 85% federally owned. So there's all sorts of policy stuff that has been done by this administration through executive order, obviously since they couldn't get it through Congress. And so that's the problem.
All right. And Greg, let's turn to you. I'll give you 90 seconds here for a response.
Sure. Well, first let me say I like energy, all forms of energy. And so whether that's still carbon or electric, geothermal, hydro, I'm pro having low-cost energy, and that absolutely has an impact on the cost that comes through to everyday users. We have to recognize in Nevada, we don't have coal, we don't have oil, we don't have gas. So every bit of that we import makes us dependent on others. So I would like Nevada to have energy independence and resilience. And look, whatever we're going to do to make cars low cost, make everything in our economy low cost, I'm for. Right now, the U.S. is at an all-time high on energy production. We are the biggest energy producer in the world, and I'd like to see that continue. And that's using every source of energy. As for this dynamic between carbon cars, electric, I love both. Like, I'm a bit of a petrol head, but I have electric cars too. So it's a mix. Diversity gives us options. And I want us, Nevada and the United States, to have control over our energy future. And look, the market will work it out. There will eventually be more electric cars than petroleum. But whether that happens in 3 years or 5 years, the market's pretty good at sorting that out.
All right, Mark?
Okay. So let's go back to you, Representative Amodei. So what's something that you've accomplished in the last decade that shows voters what you're capable of doing for them?
Well, first of all, I'm a believer in that lost art of oversight. So when you say what shows voters, it's like, let's go recently. They're going to send the mail to California. No, they're not. The fact that I was in a position to call up the Comptroller General and say, I want you to audit the post office's plan. And that'll be out in a couple weeks, by the way. But when you ask somebody to audit something, they call the post office. All of a sudden, the Postmaster General says, we're not going to do that anymore. They know how that audit's going to turn out. Let's go back even farther. COVID. We were having a problem with veterans being able to get shots from the VA, even though the VA had their own set of entitlements to COVID shots. And when we found out that they weren't necessarily making that robust, you call the VA and say, what's the deal here? That changes. Then you go back, Union Pacific Railroad, the trench here, or in Elko in terms of redevelopment, or in Carlin where they park trains across the town so you can't get emergency people back and forth. It's like you call them up and they're ignoring Nevada local governments. And so you're in a position to call them up and say, hey, I'm taking you in front of the State Transportation Board and making a presentation on what nasty neighbors you are. And guess what? Things are getting better.
Okay,
so
I'm calling time.
That's
there.
it.
Okay, and Greg, same thing for you. What's something in the last decade that would give voters an indication of what you might be able to do for them?
Well, look, just to Mark's point, oversight's important, but Congress has got to do a lot more. So to me, I look at the rate of bills passage, and the 118th Congress, I can't think of a single thing that's been passed that you'd be proud to talk about. So to me, like legislation getting passed, I remember when 9/11 happened and I was at the Fed, all the planes stopped and all our checks moved on planes. So we had to pass legislation to make electronic information rather than paper information the basis of clearing and settlement. That's a real bill. That got passed. But in the 118th Congress, there's nothing. We changed a few post office names. We gave Billie Jean King some sort of memorial. But we need more and have to have a higher standard for what's coming out of Congress. There was a time when the most liberal Republican and conservative Democrat, overlapped, and we had a middle and we got things done. But the pace that Congress is moving at today is just too slow for real important substantive legislation.
All right. Go ahead.
So Representative Amodei, I was going to give you an opportunity to sort of respond to the gridlock in Congress, but wanted to sort of spin that forward a little bit of, okay, so now in the next 2 years, if reelected, what is something that you would work on that you would want voters to know about that, you're going to try to do?
Well,
60 seconds.
The same stuff that we always do. We need C-130J models for the National Guard. Guess what? There won't be a bill that's passed that says the Nevada National Guard gets 8 C-130J bills. There will be, in the House Armed Services Appropriations Bill, there will be language for that. That's a big priority. We have always lands bills on the deck there that need to be, every single community in the state is surrounded by federal lands. You want economic development? You need real estate to do that. You need permits for right-of-ways. You need all sorts of things. So those are just the regular stuff that happens every day before you get to what are we going to do with the border, which the House did pass, sitting in the Senate. So Greg's right, but it's like, it's not because the House is sitting there practicing lobbing stuff at the other side. There's something for you to look at, to read, and say, what are we doing with soft-sided shelters? What are we doing with the Border Patrol? That sort of stuff.
Now respond to that. Look, there was no comprehensive immigration bill from the House in this session. Okay, something started in the Senate. I invest in Oklahoma. I have a bank there. My senator put forth very tough legislation on immigration, shot down. But there has been nothing introduced at a comprehensive level in the 118th Congress, and immigration is a big problem in this country. So the fact that nothing is coming out of Congress at the House level, at real immigration reform, not just nibbling around the surface, around the edges, that to me tells me there's a real problem with gridlock.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with our debate between Congressman Mark Amodei and Greg Kidd, independent running for CD2, after this timeout.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
They want us to believe we only have two options. That's just not working anymore. I've never been a follower.
I'm a businessman and entrepreneur. I'm ready to forge a new path to secure our future, one that keeps Northern Nevada free, fair, and wild. A path that means freedom for all, including affordable housing.
I'm Greg Kidd, and I approve this message because I'm not from either political party. I'm for Nevada.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue with our debate here. I'm joined by Mark Robinson of the Reno Gazette-Journal, covers state politics, and the debate is between Congressman Mark Amodei of CD2 and Greg Kidd, the independent running for CD2 as well. Greg, you brought up immigration, so let's go there. You know, the Israelis have had an interesting experience with immigration, and one of the things that they've been doing is bombing tunnels between Gaza and Israel. I don't think that that's something that we want to be doing in this country, but we haven't had serious immigration reform since 1986 when Ronald Reagan signed a bill that took from 1977 under Jimmy Carter to get through. People can continue to talk about having comprehensive immigration reform, and that has gone absolutely nowhere. And to me, it seems that though we need to break out pieces of this that work for the economy of this country, because here in Nevada especially, we need workers in so many areas. We need workers in construction. We need workers in the service industries. We need workers in agriculture. And we are so limited in that. And plus now with the high-tech jobs, we need immigrants from that area too. What are your thoughts on immigration reform?
Well, you're right. There hasn't been real immigration reform since the Reagan days. And so again, Langford, the senator, with the support of Mitch McConnell, put forth a 270-page plan, the most conservative in history. And I want to say we need not just immigration reform. To your point, we need visa reform because we do need workers in strategic issues. I personally don't see this as a partisan issue. I see this as an issue of the economy, national security. It's one of those issues where you ought to lock everybody in the room and not let anyone go to the bathroom until we get this hammered out. And so this should not be part of political theater. And so the fact that that bill almost passed until a certain presidential candidate who did not want this issue addressed at the congressional level in this election cycle said, kill the bill. And so the Republicans basically sabotaged their own bill. And so that type of theater where we basically elevate the party against the interests of the country and the interests of the economy, that needs to stop.
Congressman?
Well, if you start history at Mark Langford's bill, that's fine, but there's a whole bunch before that. I've been criticized on this show in prior elections for being a rhino, for supporting being a pro-immigration Republican. So I've supported legislation for the Dreamers, for farm workers, Jimmy Panetta's bill from California, all of those sorts of things. And so I've been the one that says, hey, if it makes sense, but let me tell you what, even Senator Langford doesn't support his own bill anymore because when you, this is important words, read the bill, it still allows all sorts of people to come in and it puts all the discretion into the executive branch. And whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, or other, there's no credibility in that right now. So you can talk about how dysfunctional Congress is, but guess what? The trust factor for the executive branch at the moment, regardless of what side the fence you're on, is at or near zero as well. So those of us that step out of that and say, what are the solutions? If you show me something that I can defend, feel good defending, then I'll support it. And I have. And by the way, there was a Republican bill, H.R. 1, that went sailing through the House. It's not that it went to the Senate and got chopped up. It went to the Senate into a black hole of never got a hearing. Kind of like a lot of things.
All right, so Greg, I'll give you 30 seconds to rebut that.
So look, we both know Congress is dysfunctional. It's part of the reason why I'm running in this race as a nonpartisan. I'm looking to vote on the issue. So I don't care whether there's an R next to the name or the D next to the name. If it's good for the country and it's good for the district, I'm going to vote for it. I'm going to encourage other congresspeople, as I've done in my past, working behind the scenes, not from a political elected point of view, but as the Fed, which is a very nonpartisan organization. So I believe this country can still get things done by working from the middle. And so I'm not going to be looking whether there's an R or a D next to the name.
Okay, I'm calling time on you here. Mark, would you care to rebut? I'll give you 30
Well,
seconds there.
I mean, the discussion of nonpartisan is rich when we're talking about term limits. We're talking about, I'm looking at it sounds like it's I want to get rid of the Republican incumbent campaign, which Greg is entirely, it's within his realm to run his campaign ever he sees fit. But to come in here and say, oh, it's all about nonpartisan and can't we all get along? That ain't what's going on in this campaign, because I've been under attack. It feels like get rid of the Republican to me.
All right, Craig, you want to rebut?
Well, there is one former Democrat in this room, but it's not me. I mean, actually learned, I did not know from the attack ad I heard that actually you were a Democrat during the Reagan years. And so I've never been a registered Democrat or a registered Republican until I came to the state. And it is true that I did register as a Republican. But, you know, I'm going to be voting on the issues. And so that's where I stand.
And good for you. You're endorsed by Jackie Rosen. You're voting for Kamala Harris. And you're endorsed by the Nevada Democratic Party. End of sentence.
And let's take a break here, and we'll come back. We can continue this after this timeout.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you. But we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Back on the Greg Kidd, Mark Amodei debate here. Mark, I wanted you to have a chance to rebut the last things said about you here.
Well, let's just keep going. I'm fine. I turned back my time.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I'll throw it to you in terms of a quick response here on electric cars. I think all of us are excited about the prospect for electric cars, but here in Nevada, there are some serious issues with charging stations, distance, etc. What are your thoughts on this and the fact that the administration continues to push electric cars so strongly?
Well, my biggest concern is with the calendar, because just recently I convened a roundtable we're not even really sure how to put out the fires when those things start on fire. We're working on it, but that is not problem solved. There's still recycling issues. There's still trade issues between here and China, because a lot of the recycling effort goes to China to have the black matter. And so it's like charging stations, distance between charging stations, all those things are things that need more work. The future looks bright, but to put a calendar on it that has no regard for the R&D cycle is not working well so far.
Greg, 30 seconds for you on this.
Well, it's tough. I walk out, there's the Rivian, and there's the Bronco. Bronco's got a V8 Coyote engine in it, same engine as in a Ford Mustang or an F-150. Look, the market will sort this out. There'll be some time when there'll be more electric cars than petrol cars. I believe it's pretty clear. Look, if you're driving out Route 50, that's not a great place to take an electric car. That's the time to gear up the Bronco. But around town, electric works just fine. And so the marketplace can sort that out. I trust consumers. I trust our industry to figure out what that mix is going to be going forward.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you. We're going to hold you over for a second show to continue this debate. And so stand by for our next program after this.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. We'll see you on the next broadcast.